Go. Was geht ab, Bildungslieder? What's up, Mr. Samson Dauda? Great to have
Hey,
you
what's
back.
up? What's up? What's up, everybody in Germany? Glad to have me back, man. I'm really glad to be back. Thank you.
Thank you, Samson, for taking your time at 4 weeks out of the Mr. Olympia competition this year. It's a true honor for us. And as I've just said in our pre-talk,
Hmm.
the people here love you. They saw you in Munich, and everybody appreciated how much time you took and that you spent
Oh,
there, took the whole day off, enjoyed the event, and did not just come for a guest posing, take the money, and leave. Samson,
oh,
for me,
oh,
it's such an honor, and I'm super excited to have you on at 4 weeks out. Thank you.
oh, thank you, man. Thank you very much. When I got the chance after Arnold and the promoters in the show asked me to come down and guest post the show in Germany, I felt honored to come there. It's one place is that because my brother lives out in Frankfurt. And to get a chance to come to Germany and guest pose, and meet the fans out there, I thought, man, this is a great opportunity to travel and represent bodybuilding all over Europe. And so when I showed up there, I was kind of surprised about the people that showed up. It was a big show, and I was kind of blown away by it because I wasn't expecting that much. But a lot of people showed there, especially being a regional show.
Yes.
I have a lot of German fans over there. I was like, man, bodybuilding is alive and well in Germany because being a regional show, to have the place sold out. I was impressed. I was really impressed. Munich was beautiful. What a beautiful city. And to have bodybuilding scene there and people so excited and so into it, it was impressive. It was really impressive, and I really enjoyed it. It made me feel so welcome. And to get a chance to not just get on stage or guest pose and show your physique, but to talk to the people there and get their own insight into bodybuilding and what they know about bodybuilding world and sort of speak and relate to them. It was good. It was good. I really enjoyed it. And I think from my understanding, we already plan to come back next year. So we're already coming back to Munich again next year. So just
Are you?
be aware when they make them. Yes, I am coming back to Munich after the Arnold next year.
Nice.
They really, as soon as I got off stage, they said, man, you're going to come back next year. I was like, yeah, okay, if you have me. So we booked it up right away.
You know, we often talk about what makes a champion. And for me, you bring those champion mentality and quality to the place because you're not one of the best athletes in the world,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
also promote bodybuilding. You live bodybuilding, and not just
Oh,
in the States, but over the entire world. You've been to Asia, you've been to Europe, you've been to all the places, and you show that you enjoy the sport. You are part of
oh,
it.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. This sport gives us a lot of opportunities, man. It gives us a lot of things to live a life that we can only dream about and to meet people all over the world that you never thought in the wildest dream you get to meet. So when, you get opportunities to travel to different parts of the world, I'm always like, how can you not say no? How can you not be, you're blessed to be in this position. How can you not want to see and meet people? Because bodybuilding is growing and it's getting bigger and it's reaching all the side of the world that we never even thought it would reach. Everybody's watching the Olympia, everybody's watching, everybody wants to put on muscle. So when you go there, you're blown away by the amount of people we actually reach out and to see them in person, not just on Instagram or on the screen, but to be there in person and meet these people and talk to them and see how inspired and how much they love this just like you do and share that.
Mm.
It's an opportunity you can't turn away. You can't say no to. It'll be ridiculous to say no. Why do you do this?
I understand you.
Otherwise. So when the opportunity always comes for me to travel and go to a place I've never been and reach out to, community I've never reached out before, I'm like, let's go. Okay, let's go. So, it's amazing and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
And also, you're giving a podcast channel like me the chance to talk
Oh,
to one of the elite athletes.
oh, thanks,
So,
man.
and I mean, you have better things to do than just spend an
I
hour or
mean,
two on a screen and
I
talking to a random guy from Germany. But you
no, I mean,
take the
not at
time
all.
and you give so much back. So thank you.
I mean, not at all. I mean, as I say, like we do this sport, and I remember when I started this point, it wasn't just okay. I'm just gonna get there and be one of the best, and then go home and then come back. And it's about a sport that has given me so much, has given my family so much. I'm going to do this for a living, my hobby. I'm able to do that and do it for a living, and they've given me a great life. How can you not want to help build the sport that's giving you so much in return? It's crazy for me. I feel like that's something way to say thank you because I live an amazing life and I want to say thank you to the sport that's giving me that. So when somebody, no matter where your channel is, no matter what part of the world you are, you say, look, I'd like to bring you on and speak to you. I'm like, okay, let's do it, because it's some way of sort of trying to grow the sport as well and grow awareness of bodybuilding and show because with every channel that pops up everywhere in the world,
Yeah.
it just show bodybuilding is getting bigger. So anything you can do in this position to help it grow, you have to say yes and jump on the opportunity to do so.
And that's what makes a champion, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
So you asked me when was the last time that we talked, and it was like 1.5 years ago. That was
Man,
shortly
is it one and a
before.
half years?
Yeah, it was shortly before you won the Arnold Classic.
Oh wow. Woo,
Yeah,
that
and
was damn.
I told you that we talked, you won the Arnold
Yes.
Classic, so that was
Yeah.
a good omen, and we should
That was a
repeat
good
that for
omen.
the
That was,
Olympia, right?
oh my, dude, 4 weeks before the Olympia, man. Honestly, if it happens the way again, dude, I'm gonna have to speak to you before every show. I'm like, no, we gotta
I
book in and
promise.
chat.
I promise.
Every
If
show.
you win the Olympia,
That's
we have
my
to
good
talk
luck
before
charm.
every show.
We have to talk every show because obviously there's some luck going on there, and I'm glad to have that. But yeah, man, 1.5 years. Wow,
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like that long. It genuinely doesn't feel
it
like. I
doesn't.
mean, there's a lot that's happened, but it doesn't feel like our last conversation was that long, you know.
Yeah,
And
last time we talked about you being in a hotel room in South Korea and
I
doing
know,
construction work
wow,
and meeting Fuad and meeting John Meadows and all those people.
yeah,
And now you're sitting here, you're an Arnold Classic champ. You're one of the top
man,
favorites for this year's Mr. Olympia. And I want to ask you,
yeah.
what has changed in the last 1.5 years?
Man, honestly, your life changes. Your life, everything around you changes with you. But I don't know about other people. You don't change. You are who you are. Maybe because I always say, like, look, success at this rate comes at the right time when you're ready for it. Maybe if I was a lot younger and I had it all just happen to me at a point and I didn't have to go through so much hard time, maybe it will change my perspective and it will change me who I am. But because I was already grown up, man, I've already been through a lot in life. And so when this all happens, it doesn't change who you are. You're already set on who you are and who you're going to be as a person. So for you, you kind of step back and look at your life and look at it and go, man, all that work, all that struggle, you're here now. And you remember it like it works, it goes in a blink. You know, Arnold, Olympia, here again, it all happens in a blink. So although your life changes with what's happening, your mindset doesn't change. You still remember and you still look at it and go, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening.
But in my opinion, you have to be a very strong character in order not to let it
Oh,
influence you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is one of the reasons why, I've been asked a lot of times, why don't you move to the USA? Why don't
Yeah.
you move here? Why don't you? I'm like, no, man. Look, I got into this here, right here, doing this. My daily life hasn't changed in years. It already changed a massive lot when I wasn't working. I was working a full-time job to not working at all and doing this full time. But since then, my daily structure has been exactly the same, and that structure has got me here now today. So for me to sort of uproot my life and change the whole thing, I don't know how that's going to affect me. It might not affect me in a good way. It might affect me negatively. And we sort of learned that a bit this year that trying to think of making something better but going somewhere else doesn't necessarily help you. When you already got a formula that works, as much as it's good to stick to what you know. So being at home, it humbles me, it grounds me.
Yeah.
The people I knew when I first started going to the gym are the same people that are here with me now. Are the same people that told me, man, dude, you need to work on this, you need to do this, you need to do that. Are the same people that are there telling me, okay, you need to work on this, you need to do this, you need to do that. They're the same people I have around me. That my circle hasn't changed. So in that way, your mentality doesn't change either. You're still just as hungry. You're still just as grounded. You're still just as functional into chasing after this dream as you were when you first got here. So I think for me, yeah, it plays a big role in just staying grounded like that at home.
But weren't there any like temptations? Because I mean, your career has skyrocketed,
Oh man,
and
yeah,
you had, I mean, maybe financial offers.
yeah. Oh God, yes. You know,
How can you just resist those temptations and stay the Samson daughter that has started in constructions and worked his ass off?
I mean, it's about being content. This is, I find like, not just in bodybuilding, in life, a lot of people were hungry for a lot, and you think that getting more will make you happy.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm gonna tell you now, being in the position, the more and more you get, and the more and more you long to get, and especially when it comes to success, the more and more you try to achieve, you think, oh man, if I get this thing, it'll make me happy. I'll really be happy. And then you get it, and it's like, okay, and then you go again, and you say, if I get this, it'll make me happy. I'll really be happy. So it's having time to stop and thinking, doesn't it doesn't. What makes you happy is being grateful for what you have right now, being grateful for everything you have around you right now. The minute you start realizing that, the real definition of happiness comes along from that.
Um,
So being in the life I have right now, I have a great home. I have my wife, I have my dog, I have my family, I have my friends around me. I'm like, I'm not wanting for anything. Isn't that the perfect definition of a good life? So although you can get the greed makes us want to have more, it doesn't necessarily make you happy. And when you realize that and you realize, I'm good, I'm happy here, I'm good, it's okay. You start to realizing, okay, yeah, you are where you need to be. Those things will make you happy. So yeah, you do get offers. Okay, come, you can come here, you can come here. But I'm happy already. I got the best supplement sponsor any guy could ever ask for. I've got the best team around me that any guy could ever ask for. I got the best partner and friends that anyone can ever need. Do I really need to think that there's better out there that I need to search for? And don't get me wrong, the temptation does come along and you do go there and you do see it. And as soon as you see it, the main thing is realizing, okay, is this really going to make you any better than you already are? If it's not, then go back home.
Yeah, the grass isn't really green on the other side, right?
The grass always really does look green on the other side.
Yeah.
Especially here in us in Europe, bodybuilders in Europe, we want to go to the USA to, think that it will make our career better, it will make our life better. They have so much more there to offer you. But sometimes it isn't. You already have everything here. Remember, you're not living, unfortunately, fortunately for us, we're not living in a third world country. You want food, you can go to shops. You want a gym, there's a gym down the road. You want supplement, is right here on demand. That's it. That's all you need. There's no secret formula. There's no, if I go there, I'll get better gyms or better food. No, you already have it here. So the problem is, before it was okay, communication and opportunity was hard to get when before the internet and social media. Now that bridge is gone. Now you can be anywhere in the world and have just as much reach as you would if you were in the States or in the UK or in Europe or in Africa. You can have just as much reach anywhere. As long as you have internet, you can reach anybody. So automatically the idea of going out, because they have magazines and those are gone now, it's all on social media, it's all online. And you can do online from anywhere. So
Mm,
it's not better out there. You can do your job, you can do this from anywhere.
right. But don't tell me driving McLaren doesn't make any fun.
Dude, that's absolutely it makes a lot of fun. It makes a lot of fun. It really helps out the downtime, and that's honestly it was one of those things on my bucket list, man. Like I said, like I grew up watching Top Gear. You grew up
Yeah.
into like being part of cars, and cars was my one hobby outside of bodybuilding and everything else that I always loved. So it was always, I always, grew up. When you know if you know the Top Gear and the Grand Tour, the show on TV. I watched Jeremy Clarkson and Richard Hammond and James May do the road trips to
Yeah.
Europe, to Italy, to Wales, to Scotland, to the Alps. I watched those trips and I always ask myself, man, well, it must be so much fun being able to do that. Take a supercar, take a sports car, and drive to the Alps and drive around Europe and come back. I mean, this is always my dream. So that was something I was like, you know what? I'm blessed to be in this position. I got
Yeah.
to do that. So we got the McLaren last year. And then as soon as the Arnold was finished, what the first thing I did, I got in that car by myself. And even though it was painfully tight and it was uncomfortable, I was like, no, I dreamt about it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it, tick off my bucket list. I drove from UK all the way through France to Switzerland to Italy and then back into south of France to Monaco to Nice. And I drove back home again, and it was the best thing ever. I really loved it.
I remember that one story where you were in some tunnel in the Alps
Oh yeah,
and
oh
you had
man.
like this childlike excitement sitting in this car.
Oh man, it was the Mont Blanc tunnel driving through,
Yeah.
and the noise, and you had the roof down, the noise, and I'm driving through. I remember watching this on TV, and I'm doing it, and it's like wow, and you're echoing and the noise, and I'm like, dude, and you come out the other side, you're in the mountains,
Yeah.
and you're like, come on, man, like if you're a car fan or a car fanatic or petrol head, it doesn't get much better than that.
Right.
You're driving a convertible Spider, a convertible McLaren through the mountains and through tunnels, and it's like this is heaven.
Yeah.
This is heaven. And that I did that, and it was like wow. I was like, I'm gonna do it again. I want to do it again. It was so amazing.
So although you're living your dream right now, your life basically hasn't changed, it, what you just said.
Oh,
But I want to know, how has your attitude or mentality as an athlete changed once you won a big tournament or big competition?
and it changes a lot because this is where the fight to hold yourself. You have to be strong in that. Because all of a sudden, when you're the underdog, like they say,
Yeah.
everybody loves you.
Mhm.
Everybody loves the underdog. When you become champion, now that road turns very quickly.
Really? Is
Now, Yo, man,
Could
very
you feel
quickly.
that? Could you feel that?
Oh man, I felt it immediately. I was like, we have watched a lot of sports, and I've
Yeah.
watched followed a lot of athletes in my time. I've followed Mike Tyson. I've followed loads of football players. I've followed a lot of basketball players. I've followed I've watched the history of a lot of high sportsmen, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal. I've followed their history, and I know time and time again the one thing they've always said is, when you're an underdog, you're loved. When you reach the top of the mountain, now everybody wants to see you fall. Now they want to see the come down. And you think, come on, man,
Yeah.
see it like that? Yeah, it is exactly like that. The minute you get to the top of that hill, now they want to see you fall. And it's being able to stay true to yourself, hold on to your integrity, don't rise to it. Understand that this is the process. Everybody goes up and everybody comes down. Don't think that you're going to be different. And one thing you want to do that is always powerful is the way you treat people when you rise is the same way they're going to treat you when you start falling. So be very humble, appreciate what you have, appreciate that you're at the top, and appreciate that when the time is for you to step down, just step down. Don't whine about it. Don't bitch. Don't make enemies. Just okay. I think my time is coming. Step down. So now that you're at the top, you see that change happen. Your automatic response is almost like, what did I do? I just got here. What's wrong? Why are you all turning on me? What have I done
Mhm.
wrong? But it's the idea of, look, it happens to everybody. They're gonna when you're successful, hate was gonna come with success. Love comes with success, but so is hate. And you have to think that's just what comes with it. And you have to accept and grow thick skin and think, you know what, hey, if you're not succeeding, people don't hate you. So it
Right.
comes with it. So be ready and just be graceful and enjoy the process of it.
Right. Wow, this is my favorite podcast already. Um, so you're the Arnold champ and you're
Yeah.
preparing for the Mr. Olympia. You
Uh-huh.
had Hadi as the reigning Mr. Olympia,
Mm.
and you had
Yeah.
Derek, who just got a wild card to compete in the open class
Yes. Yeah.
as the ruling 212 champion.
Yep.
So, what was your mental state in going into last year's Olympia?
I mean, going to the Olympia means, okay, you got to do better than your last. That's all it is.
Okay.
My first Olympia I did, I came in out of the form. I was like, I just want to make top 10.
Yeah.
I was like, nobody in
Yeah.
UK before has ever made top 10 their pro debut or their Olympia debut. That would be cool. I can actually say, okay, I'm the first guy that did that. So I was like, just make top 10. So we went in and we were in the first call out and we came sixth.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy crap, this is beyond what I thought was going to happen. And then months later that we then go off and then win the Arnold. And I'm like, okay, nobody from the UK has ever done that before. I'm already on cloud nine. Like, this doesn't get better. So when you go into the Olympia again, you're thinking, okay, understand, set a goal for yourself that is reasonable and is achievable and stick to that goal. And my goal is, okay, do better than you did last time. If you were six, be higher. That's all you have to do. Just be higher. If you can do that, then it shows progression and it shows you moving forward. So it was like, okay, be higher. So when we went to the Olympia and then we were able to climb 3 places and come third, I was like, dude, this is how much more, that's as good as it can get. This is as good as you need to get. This is as good as, how can you be happy with that? Came off stage and we were all celebrating. We were like, yes, this is it. Well, a lot of people had expectation going, oh, they're expecting you to win.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's your second ever Olympia.
Mhm.
How many people won their second Olympia?
Mhm.
So I'm like, dude, my expectation was I just want to be better than last. And then when that happened, we went off celebrating, and it was very weird though, because it felt like a lot of people had the expectation that they were expecting you to win. And because you didn't live up to their expectation, not your own, they felt bad. They felt sorry for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not. I'm celebrating. So when you came off stage and you were like, dude, let's go out and have fun and eat food and celebrate because we just came third. We're third in the world at something. This is mind-boggling. You only have two people in the world that's better than you at this.
Right.
This is
Imagine.
insane. Imagine
Imagine,
that. Two
man.
people in the world, only two people in the world are ever better than you at this right now.
Yeah.
So this is amazing. So we came off and we like, yeah, let's go ahead and celebrate. But it was what? Because you were having people come up to you and they were kind of odd and they were like, oh, better luck next year. Sorry you didn't win. Good try. better luck next. And I'm like, oh, should I not be happy? I
Yeah.
thought, oh, am I meant to be, you didn't, it was weird because you didn't know how to take it.
I just want to ask you,
So
did this ruin your party?
it didn't ruin it, but
Yeah.
it played a close role to it.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I came off stage, all of a sudden, everybody's coming up to you instead of saying, congratulations, well
Yeah.
done. They were saying, oh, better luck next year. Nice try, good attempt. And I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I feel odd. I'm like, is it weird that I'm happy right now?
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't. And then all of a sudden you feel like you have to be acting sad because everybody else is sad because you didn't win.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my team and I, we were all like, yo, this is more than we ever planned to achieve. So great. But everybody else was kind of like, they felt really bad for you for some reason. So it felt very odd leaving the venue and going back to the hotel because you're kind of like, did I do something wrong? Did I let everybody down? Because for me, my goal was simple and I achieved it. So we went back to the hotel and we sat there and we kind of like didn't know how to take it. It felt very odd. It felt very like we were meant to be happy, but at the same time, everybody seems to be sad about it. So
Hmm.
they started pulling that energy from you. They started making you feel a bit like you should be disappointed. So we sat in a room in the hotel and we ordered food and we were celebrating together like we do, and we kind of eating and it felt very stoic at first. It felt very like sort of like down a bit. And we sat there and we were talking and we kind of felt like, man, you felt like the energy was kind of feeling like this low depressed sad energy. And then after a while, I think one of us, either Mel or going, what are we doing this? What are we like this right now?
Yeah.
We're third in the world. We
Yes.
just came up three places in an Olympia. In our second Olympia, we just made top three.
Yeah.
Why are we sitting here sad?
Yeah.
And then the light kind of switched with all of us. And we're like, dude, we turned the music up and we were jumping around. We're like, yo, what? And we had a celebration and we were like really happy and we were enjoying it. And it felt like, okay, the energy came back in the room. But every time we went out for like dinner and stuff, it felt like you met other people people in the industry and they were kind of like low. So they
Hmm.
kind of made you feel a bit like down. And you kind of like, I didn't like that energy at all. So we kind of went out to IHOP. We went out of there. I met Fuad, I met my friends, and we went out for dinner and we actually celebrated.
Yeah.
And Fuad was like, I met him the next day and he had a Corvette and he was like, bro, let's go for a drive. And I was like, yo, come on, man, let's go. And the next day we went out for a drive and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. And we kind of had to celebrate by ourselves and celebrate on our own because, it felt like, everybody else they were kind of disappointed and they felt low, but I felt great. And I was like, look, I want to be around other people that sort of understand that this is an achievement, not a letdown.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for us it was kind of like a funny sort of feeling after Olympia that you should be celebrating. It felt like, it was a funny two-way thing about it.
Awesome. Love it. And like a week after or 2 weeks after, was it still the same feeling that you were just genuinely
So
happy with that third
yeah,
place? Yeah.
so of course, so basically the following after I came on the Olympia stage, I remember I met Elena Popova and she was hosting the Romania
Hmm.
show. Romania obviously in Europe. And I already said like before that show, I was like, you know what? One day I was going to come back and do European shows as well. Like how they used to have the post Olympia tour where guys just come from Olympia, they used to do European shows.
Hmm.
And I almost said myself that I was always going to do that, but I didn't like it, and I was always going to do that. So I met her, and she goes, "Oh look, the Romania Pro is happening next week. Would you like to come?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Let's go." I was like, "Come on, let's do it. I love competing." And for us, it also felt like it was opportunity as well because with Olympia, when you're prepping for Olympia, you only get one chance to get it right. You know,
Hmm.
the window of missing is quite big because you've
Right.
gone through like whole off season, your physique has grown, it has changed, especially mine. It changes quite right. My physique changes quickly.
It does.
It changes a lot, and the way it responds with every prep is different. So we have to in that prep, we have to learn what the body is doing very quickly. And then when we try to peak it for a show, it's almost like everything's different from last time. So
Hmm.
whatever you did last time that got it right, it's not going to work again. So now you have to learn, okay, how do you manipulate your body this time? How do you get it dry enough? How do you get
Hmm.
hard enough to go on stage? You have to learn that on the fly. Whatever you did before doesn't work. So we did that for the Olympian. We kind of weren't happy with all the results all the way. I was happy, but I knew it because it was still better than what I've done in Arnold. But At the same time, I didn't think it was perfect. We didn't quite hit it. So when we then said, okay, right, I was like, look, let's have, since we're in shape, it's another opportunity to try something else while you're in shape. So
Makes
Romania
sense.
was came up with a perfect opportunity to do that. You know, you had fans in Europe that always wanted to come back to. We had a great show, and it was an opportunity for us to learn something about more about my body as it's changing. So we did Romania, and we were better than the Olympia because we sort of learned what happened and we fixed it a bit. And then a week after that one, it was Prague. You know, EVLS Prague. So we jumped in that again and refined that even better. And we sort of learned with each show we did, we sort of learned a bit more and sort of used that to go forward. So I was really happy I did those 2 shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, this year's Arnold, you
Yes.
came second to Hadi,
Yep.
and I felt that, especially in the UK, you were closing the
Yeah.
gap a little.
Yeah. And you know, this is the thing, it's like for me, I'm still improving on my
Mm.
physique. You know, people, you know, you forget people forget how fast we've come up. Like you
Yeah.
said, when we spoke last time, I just came
Right?
off top 6 placing after just trying after years. I mean, I was pro since 2017. It took me years to qualify for the Olympia.
Right.
So, you know, so we only qualified. So I've since then it's kind of exploded and I kind of went, you know, Olympia top 6, then Arnold Classic win, and then Olympia again 3rd place. So you're climbing up that rank very quickly and your physique is changing very quickly to match that. So it almost feels like, you know, you're meeting the guys at the top that have been doing this for a lot longer time. So I feel like, you know, every show I do, I want to be improved enough to bridge that gap. I want to get closer. When we did the Olympia 2022, we were going up against Nick at the Arnold 11 weeks later. Nobody had us beating Nick. Nobody said you were
Hmm.
going to beat Nick. No one even saw it was possible.
Hmm.
So all of a sudden, that improvement and that gap came and we passed it and we beat him. And it was like, holy shit, our physique has changed this much. Then we did, or then remember, people forget that when we did Arnold, when we did the Olympia 2022, Hadi and Derek was already up there. They were way beyond us. So all of a sudden we came to Olympia and now we're battling them for top 3 spots.
Hmm.
I was like, ooh, okay, we're getting closer. And then when the Arnold came around, it was going up against Hadi. So it's a point for us to, okay, can we get close to that gap? Can we breach that gap? So when we did that show, I was like, ooh, the gap now has gone from being that far apart to being this close and
Yeah.
this close. Every time we go on stage, that gap goes smaller and it goes smaller and it goes smaller. And for you to sort of progress to the point where you can beat someone that good and someone that amazing like Hadi that never misses, and he's a perfect bodybuilder, man. He never misses,
You
you know.
don't.
So it's like, damn, how do you the most conditioned guy on stage by far? We can all agree with this.
Absolutely.
So how for you, you have to up your game to catch up to it. So it's like, okay, each time we compete, condition gets better, muscle maturity gets better, we get closer to it. So when we had the Arnold, Ohio, it was like, okay, that guy was going closer. And then by the time we come to the UK, now it's like, you're right there. You know,
Hmm.
people are looking, going, ooh, this show can go either way. Ooh,
Hmm.
this is close.
Hmm.
And this is coming from just a year ago where the gap was so big that nobody would ever see you even coming close to Hadi.
Hmm.
Now you're this close to him. So taking that and going into this year's Olympia is like, it's that progression. It's that sign of progression. You're learning, you're getting better. So
Yeah.
it makes you excited every time that gaps get closer, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you whether you think that gap has been closed, but before I want to ask you another question.
Yes.
Um, you've made tremendous progress over the last years. As you said, you've improved with every competition, with every season. However, you decided to part from Milos after the Yarnold.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to give us some insights into that, or do you
You
want
know,
to don't?
it's just about, you know, trying different things, man. Like you said, we're
Mhm.
progressing. And, you know, when Milos, he helped us a lot in terms of getting that size,
Mhm.
you know, putting on that much and putting on that mass. Now is we have to now get it refined and get that condition. And people forget, like, people are like, oh, why did you leave? We did 13 shows together.
Right.
We were together for 2.5 years. Okay. And in 13 shows, we just couldn't sort of close enough for that last part we need. We got everything enough to get there, but the last bits we're trying to close up, we just could not get it. We just
Right.
couldn't refine it enough. So it came to a point where it's like, okay, we got to try something else. We got to try bring some new thinking. We have to bring some new changes. We have to try something else. So this is all it was. It was just the idea of, okay, you know what? it's time to try something else. And people try to play for more than it is. I'm like, dude, people leave, change team. Look, if a football team is playing,
Right.
they're not winning, they've got so far, they change coaches. In every sport in this world, when someone is getting closer and closer, but it's not quite locking in, you try something else, you change coaches, you change tack. And that's all this was. It's just that opportunity of, okay, we need to try something new. So,
Yeah.
that's all that was.
Yeah. And I think that everybody in the bodybuilding industry agrees that, or
Yeah.
everybody's saying that if you come in inside
Yeah,
out peeled, there's nobody beating you right now. Nobody.
exactly.
So,
So
and as you've said, you've always missed that peak like a little bit.
just a little bit.
Right. And the question now is that I want to ask myself, we know that Milos is known for manipulating carbs a lot,
Yeah.
different ways. Do you think that played a role in you missing that 100% hard as nails condition?
I mean, it's something that we know. Remember, when we we work together as a team.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't say like, oh, he tried or we tried or we didn't.
Mhm.
We always make a decision together like a team. And we come in and we sit down, we talk about what we do. We all put our ideas in a box and go, okay, right. This is what we're trying to do. What do we agree? Will this work? And we all chime in and we say, yeah, let's try, let's do it. And then we go forward. And if it doesn't work, we lose together as a team. We don't miss the mark together as a team. Nobody comes in there and
Understand, yeah.
go, you said this and you said that and we got it wrong. And no, that's not how it works. I come from a team sport of rugby. We play together, we win together, we lose together. That's all it works. So when it came time where it was like, okay, we need new ideas, we need something fresh, we need fresh thinking. This is all it is. It's like, okay, how do we get some fresh thinking? How do we get some new blood in there? And this is where we sort of be in that point where we reach a crossroad where it's like, we need something new to obviously push us just over the mark.
And it seems like that Malenka, I hope I pronounced her name correctly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you seem to have figured out because you look harder already than last
Yeah.
year.
Oh yeah, so it's this idea of, okay, we know some things that we want to try that we know, especially from last year and the shows that we tried out and doing the Arnold UK where she picked me up for that show. It's trying to get that perfect peak and that perfect hardness. Like you said, it's just trying to get that little bit over the mark.
Yeah.
And she kind of did that, showed me that in the Arnold UK, and her strategy sort of worked very well for that. So I'm like, look, with another year of an off season where we're going to get harder, we're going to get more denser, we're going to get more muscle maturity, we're going to get that sort of refinement. Now, let's use your method to get to that point where we can just get it right. So I was like, look, for me, there's no point, everyone's like, oh, get this coach, get that coach. There's no point in, you don't throw in everything away and start it again. It's
I th-
about,
I think
it's,
what people forget is that your wife has prepped you already for years. I mean,
yes,
you only went to John Meadows after you met Fuad, and
yep,
John Meadows then led you to Milos. But
there you
otherwise,
go.
Malenka has prepped you all the time, right?
She's always been there,
She knows
she's
you,
always on there with, and people forget, with every coach I've worked with, they've worked with Malena.
right?
They've always worked with her because she had the experience, because she knew me for years. So she comes in and she tells them, okay, this is what we've done, this is what's worked, this is how it work. Do you have any ideas that you want to try? And that's why I always say that we've always worked as a team,
Mhm.
because if I go in, imagine this, a football team has just always been about, they're good enough, but they're just never there. And then they bring a new coach in and he's like, okay, throw away everything, let's start again.
Yeah,
You can best believe that you're going to make a lot of mistakes before you finally go. Things that you already tried before, you're going to end up making mistakes, having those mistakes again. We don't have time. So when you get new blood in, it's almost like, okay, I've seen how far you come. I've seen how good you are. What have you done to get you here? And and then you tell them and you show them that, and then you say, okay, right. And then they say, okay, this is what I can add, and this is what I think you haven't tried. And then we try that. Then we sort of see how that works. But if we just come in and we throw everything away and we say, let's start everything again, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes that you've already made, you know. So where we are now is this point of, okay, we know we only this close to it. Let's see what she can do. Let's see what ideas we can get into the mix. And the Arnold UK was proof of that.
Mhm.
So it's almost like, okay, now let's see how we can then refine that, make that better.
What have you done differently?
So she basically, one of the things that we've done that's been massively is we got good help, new help from someone, Marek Health, Michael Warner. So he's come into the team and he's introduced sort of like, okay, check your blood work. seeing how your body responds in a more scientific level. He's sort of taking that side, and he's almost taking someone that plays off complete science and picking everything to the nth degree. And then Mel, with her experience of what she's already done working with me, is bringing those two together to find a perfect form going forward. So when both of them now, they're now looking and going, okay, she's known what's worked in the past. And he's coming with something new and coming with the whole idea of, okay, let's see what the bloods work and everything else telling us. Let's work off that. And putting those two together is just a way where we're kind of like, okay. And he's sort of bringing new ideas as well. And we've refined it to sort of move forward.
Has there anything been off that you had to correct?
No. And this is what's been really interesting, because it's like, we started working, he brought some new method, and Mel sort of threw away some things that she always saw some things that she was kind of worried about, and she knew that it never worked. So she got a chance to sort of take full control of that and say, okay, right, I know what works for you, and I've seen it time and time again, and okay, let me see what I can do with that. And she sort of worked with me now, and she's sort of like, okay, I know for you is the quicker you get in shape, the better you look.
Yeah.
So instead of like pacing you slowing into the shows, get you in shape fast, get in shape quick. And then we know that the last is always the last bit. It's not the whole prep. It's always that last bit. So let's get to that last bit early so we can try different things to catch you right. So she's playing that, and she's using that to sort of get us. And we're looking at the result and we're thinking, damn, this is really working. And with Michael sort of trying to keep me in that mindset, and both of them, one thing they both agree is mentally, the better you are, the better you look, the more your body responds. So let's work off that. Let's work out how to try to keep you in the most positive and the most relaxed side ever that you've ever been, and let that result speak for itself. Let's see what happens. And this year, it just clicked. It just worked very well in that way.
When we talked before, you said that this was like the easiest prep ever, or you feel like you're in such a
Yeah.
good mood. And what have you done differently exactly so that you're
It's honestly the one thing we've done during this time is anything that we know that we tried before that makes you feel low or feels more negative, feels aggressive, and hey, you don't need it. Let's try to make you feel as positive as others. So because you feel so good and you feel so good in yourself, you train harder, you train more aggressive, you're willing to push more because you're like, I feel good, other than your carries and everything else I feel great about. So it makes you more hungry, it makes you train harder than you ever have, it makes you push harder than you ever have, and your body responds to that very well. So that's one of the main things we've sort of made sure this prep is keep you in a very nice, even positive mental scale. If there's anything that doesn't help with that, you don't need it.
For me, it sounds like you flipped the mental switch.
Yeah, I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah,
Basically, my mindset that I have in the off season when I have loads of food and I'm feeling very jovial and everything else is basically take that mindset and bring it into prep.
yeah.
It's taking that same sort of feeling and bringing it into prep where you still sleep very well. That's one thing we got to make sure. Your sleep is good, your energy is good, you're not stressed, your mental state is in that state where everything is working very smoothly for you. And now, you can train harder, you can work harder just because you're in that really, really good positive mindset.
Do you feel pressure?
No, right now, no.
No?
No. Because we've done this, we've done this time and time again.
I
And
know,
I
I
swear,
know. But you said that last time you just wanted to improve at the Olympia.
yeah,
Now you came third. What's the next
yeah,
step? Is to be second or first.
yeah.
And that doesn't come with a lot
And
of pressure?
it doesn't come with a lot of pressure because you know what? The most pressure you can do is when you start to let external pressure you into it.
Uh,
That's when you start feeling, okay, I got to
okay.
perform. I've always pressured myself internally. I've always
Yeah,
tried to be the best. So
yeah.
that has not changed. It's almost trying, that's why it's one thing was like, okay, close off the outside world. You're already pressuring yourself enough because you already want to be the best. But when you kind of being able to close out the outside world and just focus on you, that's when you're best because you already push yourself more than anybody else can push you. So you do that. So when you have no noise and you have this quiet surreal life and you're just in this good place and there is no external factor, it's just you in your zone, in your world with the shutters off, you doing your best. And then you're seeing the result that's coming and you're seeing how well your body responds to that. You tend to just relax and enjoy the process. And this is what we feel in this time, which is so amazing compared to any prep because you know when you first come into the sport and you're climbing very quickly, you're in the limelight and all the noise and everything else is there, and you're getting pulled left and right, and then that can really that's where it's now okay. What do you do when that starts happening? Is can you still close off the outside world? When you start letting things pull you left and right, that's when you start feeling all that pressure. It starts getting to you. The minute you're able to close off and go back to your quiet little world and say, okay, let me relax and let me do this my way. And let me just do this with my own time, my own pace, the pressure goes away very quickly.
You just said that you're focusing on yourself, which I think is good. But do you think that you have closed the gap to Hadi and Derek?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Because
then
I'm constantly,
because
everybody knows I'm constantly always improving.
Yeah.
And every time I get on stage, physics is always different than last time. And if we were that close to Hadi and the Arnold, another 6 months, what would happen? So at this point now, we just like, okay, we just want to see, okay, what we're going to look like now when we stand next to him.
I want to ask you the very same question that I asked you 1.5 years ago. Only two names change. And 1.5 years ago, I asked you, can you take out Rami and Nick? Now I'm going to ask you, can you take out Hadi and Derek?
Yes. Yes.
Why do you think so?
Because we improved. Look how close we were. We improved everywhere.
But they did. But they did too.
Energy. But they know so far how's improving as fast as we are. Remember, they've been here for a long time. We only came out on the scene 3 years ago. So, and look how fast we improved. So now when we're going up against them, it's like, okay, we know we're catching up. We know we're bridging that gap. They can improve as much as they do, but we know we improve a lot faster than anybody else. So it's like, okay, it's like two trains going at a track. One train is moving 50 miles an hour faster than the other one. Eventually we'll catch up and eventually we'll pass. So the one train might be moving 20 miles an hour faster, another train moving 50 miles an hour faster. At the end of the day, who's going to eventually catch up and reach the finish line first? So this is why I love this sport. This is why I'm excited. This is why I'm like, okay, I know I'm improving. I know that I'm coming in fast. Okay, they're improving a lot fast as well, but I know I'm just doing it a little bit faster. So it's like, okay, have we caught up and passed them yet? Well, a few months ago, it was like, ooh, everybody's like, ooh, we can see it's getting closer. Now it's like, okay, what's this show going to bring?
Bye-bye. I love it. I love it, man. Do you also look back at the placings behind you, especially like Nick and Andrew? Because I think Andrew improved immensely.
Yes. Dude, this is if when people, you know, just because you're focused on yourself doesn't mean that you're not realizing or acknowledging competition. People always get these two things the same. They're like, oh no, I'm just focused on me. I don't care. I'm just focused. No, you can do that, but yet you can be aware of the competition. So if you're ignorant enough to ignore the competition, thinking, oh yeah, I don't care what they're doing, they just do, then you're gonna get beat. You're gonna get catched. You have to look at the competition and realize they're there. Because what happens is it makes you work harder because you know they're right there. You know, so when you look back and you see Andrew, you know, coming in Texas, holy shit, dude, my man's looking freaking good. You see Nick earlier this year in New York, damn, okay, he's looking good. Shit, it makes you then think, okay, guess what? You cannot drop the ball at all. At this level, you cannot afford to be a little bit complacent, not even a tiny bit, because you like everybody will pass you, you know. So when everybody's like, oh man, them guys just don't work hard enough, I'm like, you kidding me? Have you ever seen competition this ferocious before? Have you ever seen Olympia where these guys are this close? And the only reason because of that is because we know how good each person is. So when you go to the gym and you're training and you're about to get to your last and you're going, man, I'm tired, man. Oh, I don't have the energy to do this. And you think, guess what? Them other guys are doing it. So you're like, shit, I guess I got to finish this up. So you get up and you have that energy to even push harder because you know the other guys are. You know, so this is your mindset has to be that mindset. You have to have that soldier mindset. You have to have the warrior mindset that, okay, I'm hungry because I know the other guys are more just as hungry as I am. So I got to make sure I'm willing to go just that bit further each time because if I don't, they'll catch up.
It's super close and it's super exciting. We do predictions and we try to predict who's going to win and who's going to end up where.
Yeah.
And it's impossible right now. It's impossible.
It's impossible because you look at it going, if anybody, and you could be like, you could even be like, okay, you could get it all right, and it could just be that last minute on stage, something goes wrong.
Yeah.
It's that close, you know. So it's really, really that close. So and this is why sport is so exciting right now. It's
Right.
so exciting to watch. It's so exciting to see what's happening. It's so exciting when you see shows and going, ooh, okay, and
Yeah.
anything can happen. And this is why it's so enjoyable.
A bad night's sleep, a flu, whatever can happen, and you're
Stressed,
out. You're out.
anything, you're out. You know, you stress a little bit, you retain water, and all of a sudden you're going from
Mm.
you walk on stage being the best, and 5 minutes later it's like, whoa, what happened?
Mm.
This happens very regularly in this sport. So it's all about who's the best on the day. It's all
Absolutely.
about learning your body enough to try to make sure it's perfect and try to get everything that could go wrong and find out, okay, and be so meticulous about everything that you can make it perfect on the day and hope that it holds up when you stand on stage. And the judges like it because one single wrong step, one wrong decision, one wrong move, and it's like, oops. And then the other guy passes.
So one question that I didn't plan, but which just
Yeah.
came up through our conversation. Let's no, let's not imagine it, but
Yeah.
what happens if you come second? Are you happy or are you sad?
Oh God, yes. Because I'm still forward.
Okay, so the same
Listen,
same scenario as
listen.
this last year.
Yeah, because look, honestly, this is one thing you understand. Yes, you're always trying to be the best. There's no getting
Mm.
away from that. You're always trying to be the best. But we need to understand the level we're at, and you need to understand enough to hold on to something. Once you go to that Olympia stage, if you make top five, you're one of the five best bodybuilders on the planet.
Yes.
Yes, you want to, because athlete's mentality, and I have it too, is we want to be the last man standing. We want to win, want to win, want to win. But when you get off that stage, you got to always acknowledge one thing only. You're still the best, one of the best in the world at what you do. So it's a competition, and yeah, you want to be the last man standing. But when you come up that stage and you're feeling disappointed, you're feeling down, you're feeling, oh man, I didn't get. Still stop and think, where do you stand right now?
Mm. But deep down in your heart, you feel like you will be the last man standing this year.
Oh damn! Oh yeah.
Oh, good,
Because
good.
that's what you train for. That's what you train for. That's what you're hungry for. That's what a competition is.
Mhm.
It's trying to be the Mr. Olympia, trying to be the best in the world or something. And
Mhm.
if you stop striving for that, you stop chasing for that, you're gonna start falling backwards.
I'm rooting for you, man. I hope to see you there because I said, for me, you have the champion attitude, you have the champion mentality, you have the champion behavior. So it's time
Oh,
that
thank you. Thank
you
you
are
very
the
much.
champion.
Thank you
So
very
what
much.
are the plans for the upcoming 4 weeks?
So 4 weeks is literally we pulling. I mean, hell, this is where it's getting tired because we're pulling lower and lower and lower. We're trying to pull in because we know right now I'm already better than I was at the Arnold.
Mm.
I'm already more conditioned than I was at the Arnold or Arnold UK. So and that we were better than that 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
You know, we have the videos, we comparing, we look at every part, we say, okay, we really go meticulous on that, okay, trying to make sure we match everything we've been. So we're already better than that. But we still have 4 weeks. So you're not gonna sit there and be like, well, I'm better than I was the last time. I'm just gonna sit here on my ass and not do anything. No, it's like, okay, how much more better can you make it? How much more can you pull it? How much can you pull down? And one of the good thing about me is because I retain muscle very quickly, very,
Yeah.
very, very well, we can afford to pull me lower and pull me down a lot more. And I'm still gonna be one of the bigger guys on stage. So it's like, okay, let's suck you in. And it's been freaking hard doing that. I gotta tell you now, that has been horrible, especially this week. This week has been horrible. This week has been really, Mel is she's punished me. She's punished me a lot.
How
And
low are
look,
your calories?
yo, man, I mean, she calculates it more than I do. And I just look at the food on my plate. She doesn't even tell me. She just puts the food on my plate and I look at it and go, holy shit, damn,
Is
is
that
that it?
it?
So, honestly, there's one thing living with when your wife is your coach. This is what
Yeah.
people need to understand. When you have your coach living with you, training with you, 24/7, do you know how hard that is? That understand? Because we were like, I don't get it. How can his wife be his coach? How does that work? You have your coach living with you 24 hours of a day.
Yeah.
They're sleeping by your side. They eat, they right there eating with you. They're right there training with you. They're right there all the time. They see you in the morning. They see you in the morning, in the evening. They see you at night. They see you all the time. They know your physique inside out. They know your attitude. They know your behavior inside out. You are not gonna get away with anything. Your meals are everything is under control. So when they're pushing you, they're there the whole time. So it's one of the most disciplined thing and one of the hardest thing, but they're right there with you, and it's this is why this works. And this is why it's always worked, because she's right there telling me, okay, come on, man, you got to do it. Let's go. Get your
Right.
ass and go. Even when I'm tired, I'm like, man, I just can't get up, man. My calories are so long. I'm drowsy. I'm hanging up my ass, and I'm thinking I can't even get enough energy to get up to go train. She's right there. Say, oh, hey, come on, you got to do it. You got to go. I'm like, okay, make it. Let's go. So it makes you push to another level. That's for sure.
I know it's easy speaking from the other part of the screen, but it's 4 more weeks.
Yeah,
You've done worse. Just remember what you've done in South Korea. Now it's time to
exactly.
suffer and bring that title home
Exactly. I mean, I know in 4 weeks I'm gonna be celebrating. So either
with
way,
food
I'm gonna
and a
be
lot of
celebrating in
cheesecake.
4 weeks. So yeah. So I'm like, yo, I'm just excited to come get it going. So yeah, for sure.
Right. Are there any shows planned after the Olympia, or are you just winging it?
Because we're traveling, we're going China straight a week after the Olympia. And that's
Awesome.
just for appearance. It's not a show because there's no show there.
Great.
Unfortunately, normally if there was shows, because the next show after Olympia is Prague and it's like a month later.
Yeah.
So it's like to be on point with another extra month, it takes too much toll. And then talk about the Prague is in November and Romania is around that time. And then Arnold is in March. So I'll end up being prepped for too long. And
No.
we're trying to make improvements as well. So it's just too much. If there was show like a week after the Olympia and stuff like that,
Mm.
then I would. But
No.
there's no shows for a month. So
Samson, you've been on prep for like almost a year, so
yeah,
maybe it's
yo.
time to take your wife on a nice
And
vacation,
this is
enjoy the
exactly what
holidays.
we're planning. Is exactly what we're planning after the Olympia is okay. They've invited over to come China and come do
Yeah.
a tour over there. I'm like, I've never been to China before. We're going to Beijing. I'm like, man, go see the Great Wall of China. One place on my bucket list I want to see. Go see the culture. Go see the people over there. Go see the bodybuilding scene over there. So I'm gonna be over there touring China for 7 days, and then we're gonna come home, rest, enjoy some downtime, enjoy Christmas this time because for once I'm not gonna be prepping around Christmas for once in oh Jesus Christ, since 2020. Yeah, since 2020 I'm not actually prepping in Christmas this year. So for the first time I get to enjoy Christmas with my family
Yeah.
and enjoy the whole month of December and relax, and before we actually start prepping for the Arnold. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot to enjoy right after. That's why I'm so excited that after 4 weeks I get to finally breathe this time and just
Right.
enjoy it.
Right. So earn that cookie, okay?
Oh God, yes. I'm with stuff in my face after that. Honestly, I'm so tired. I'm so hungry right now. And this is the thing, there's no food in the house. Nothing but there's literally no food in the house. So nothing but that food. So I can't even look at anything to look at it and go, oh, that'd be nice to have. There's just nothing here. So once that's done, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be stuffing my face. I'm gonna be stuffing my face a lot. I'm like, yeah, enjoying downtime and knowing that okay, longer waited.
Right. 4 more weeks, Samson. You're on a
4 more
mission.
weeks, man.
You're on a mission.
Oh, I can't wait.
As I said, I'm rooting for you. This is so exciting. I will definitely
Yep.
watch it. And I
Oh,
wish
thank you.
you best of luck. And I think the whole German community will support me in saying that
Man.
it's time for a new champ.
Oh man, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Look,
And remember,
we're
if
fine.
this works,
Oh
I'll
yeah.
catch you next time.
Oh yes, definitely. This time we're gonna have to do this again after the Arnold, before the Arnold again. So it's gonna be exciting.
Whenever you like.
Oh yes, definitely, most definitely. It'd be nice, especially catching up as well. So yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Samson, for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And thank you for joining us. And please, 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 please leave a like, leave a comment, follow Samson, and do everything to support this man on his way to the Olympia.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in and leave a like, share this with your friends, spread Samson's message. As I've said, this is my favorite podcast already. There's so much wisdom in this man, and he needs to be heard all over the world. So thank you for listening.
Well, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.